Were you watching the PlayStation Showcase yesterday and then saw this? And then we're left wondering what the hell you just watched? Well, to be quite frank with you, I don't really know what the hell I watched either. But I'm going to try to give you guys a bit of a rundown on what to expect down the line as we get more information from Bungie on Marathon. If you don't know anything about either Bungie or Marathon, well, I can help get you up to speed a bit. Bungie might not know. They only made, Destiny, Destiny 2, and Halo in its good era. So, a couple small indie titles that kind of popped off a bit, but nothing too crazy. Marathon, the IP, is an old title that Bungie had that kind of played like old classic Doom or Quake. It's one that they haven't touched for years and is kind of beloved. It has somewhat of a cult following to people. And now they're bringing it back as a extraction-based PvP shooter. A few very notable changes are obviously the extraction PvP game mode that they're choosing to do instead of the story-based kind of monster-killing game mode that they used to have, as well as changing up the aesthetics a bit. Marathon 1994 was a lot more grungy, a lot more grim, which contrasts a lot from what we saw at the PlayStation Showcase, which was kind of a Mirror's Edge type vibe, very bright, very white. So it definitely seems like they're switching up the aesthetics a bit here, maybe to make it more appealing to look at, who knows. As for a gameplay side of things, they're obviously stepping away from that retro FPS style of gameplay and moving towards a extraction-based PvP VE shooter. If you don't fully understand the concept of an extraction-based shooter, essentially what you do is you drop into a run. It's sort of like a battle royale, except instead of your goal being to survive all the circles and make it to be the last one standing, your only goal is to survive. Throughout the run, there's many different things that can happen. There's loot that you can find in some hidden cave somewhere, in a building, on a body. There's other players you can run into, and there's the the environment itself. So the AI or maybe some monsters that'll be roaming around. We have yet to see. What I consider to be the grandfather, or the sort of what laid the foundation for the extraction shooter, is Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown are the two titles that I feel like are the only two that nail the extraction shooter concept down fully. But my preference and my bias definitely leans towards Tarkov, as not only does its gameplay feel pretty good, despite some of the changes they've been making, in my opinion, for the worse, but also the gameplay loop that they have, where you have the hideout to upgrade, you have traders to trade with, or buy and sell stuff with, and then you also have a player-run flea market. So there's different types of ways to make money, there's different quests you can do, there's a lot you can do within the game, and it feels like it's sort of just an open-ended, kind of journey on your own. With the information Bungie gave us through both the PlayStation Showcase and a blog post that they have, this definitely feels like it's going to be a bit more of a classic extraction shooter as opposed to some of the takes like Call of Duty's DMZ. And while I did mention earlier that they're going for a bit of a brighter or whiter aesthetic, it doesn't seem like they're straying too far away from that grungy aesthetic that kind of brought them their popularity back in 1994. If you take a look here at this clip from Christopher Barrett, the game director for Marathon, we can kind of get a glimpse into the fact that Marathon, maybe on the surface, looks bright, white, and colorful like Mirror's Edge, but it can have some deep, dark depths lurking below its surface.
We want that kind of just surprising, dangerous mystery. Imagine going into this basement of one of the colony buildings and it's like flooded with water, murkiness. It's too quiet. Just the sloshing of your footsteps. Around the corner, you see some beam of green light. And you're like, oh no, what is that?
Based on that little segment, it definitely seems like Bungie will be tapping into Marathon's darker themes as well. We also get an idea of the environment we'll be playing in, an abandoned or overrun colony that has been reclaimed by the local ecosystem. One thing that could potentially set Marathon apart from the rest of the extraction shooters is a feature that they outlined in both their blog post and in the PlayStation Showcase. It's an artifact system that when discovering an artifact, it can activate it and open up new parts of the map for all players across the game. Essentially, they're making a dynamic map that evolves as players interact with it. I see a lot of potential in this kind of feature, as it makes the game feel more alive, and it makes it feel like everything you do has more impact on the game itself. This artifact system will also help to make raids feel more fresh. As the map constantly expands, everyone won't have the map fully memorized, so there's always more to explore and more loot and mysteries to uncover. Overall, having seen the Vidoc and the reveal, I'm very excited personally about this game. I'm a big fan of extraction shooters, but really the only one that's scratched the itch for me so far has been Escape from Tarkov. I've been waiting for another big dev team that I can rely on, such as Bungie, to really come in and kind of work on that type of game, as I feel like the extraction looter shooter genre hasn't really been fully realized. Call of Duty's DMZ obviously was a stab at it, but I think ultimately it fell flat because there really weren't any stakes to it. It felt too oversimplified and really just felt like a drawn-out version of Warzone rather than it being its own game mode. I think if Bungie nails down a solid gameplay loop, including hideout system, quest system, and some form of economy, hopefully player-driven, but not necessarily that, then I think that Marathon has a huge potential to become the next big title in the genre. A pain point with extraction shooters that I've been seeing online is that sometimes they can seem like a chore. It really depends on the person you ask. Bungie has addressed this in saying that they're going to try to make it more new player friendly so that losing your stuff doesn't feel like such a setback and that playing the game can actually be enjoyable, unlike other titles within the genre currently. Tarkov. Love you, Daddy Nikita. Your game's just sometimes a bit of a chore. But yeah, to close out, I think that Marathon has a really good chance of being a solid addition to the extraction shooter genre. It has a lot of promising features that if they expand on and execute correctly, they could be really cool. And it has a good dev team behind it. Unfortunately, from the Vidoc, it seemed like we're not going to be getting too much more information for a little bit, as it's still currently in early development. In the meantime, I might start uploading some Destiny stuff just to fill the void. If you guys would be interested in that, I'd consider subscribing. Also, let me know down below what you think about the game and its reveal so far. Are you happy in its extraction shooter? Do you wish there was a single player campaign? What kind of features are you looking for? All that kind of stuff. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.